I don't know the answers, so, but how many students are there currently? And are there any particular emphases in the curriculum at the school that might be helpful? I don't know, Joe, if you can answer that, or
Steve, if you can, as far as maybe I'll try, and if there's anything any of you can add on to. As far as the role of the school, we have about 1,200 kids. When I was there, we had about 400, 500 was the most, and we have at least about 1,200 kids, and that is, they're limiting them, in fact. And right now, the academic goal is really to see how to improve it. Over the years, it has gone down. I mean, it's a school that was well known throughout the whole country, not only in Sierra Leone, but internationally. But then it came down so bad that we were even below zero. But with the involvement of some help we got from here, with the engineers without borders, over the 5 years, we've been making trips maybe once or twice a year, and now we're now beginning to see results. And over the years now, we're now about 80% of academic achievement. They have what they call the national test that they have for the whole country, and the school was getting nothing. After the 5 years that we've been making, we started seeing 20%, 30%. And this last, I just came about 2 weeks ago, the last result that they have about 80% passes in their result. That is a little help that we can give. We know that we're going to be getting more. And so specifically, we asked them that question, how can we be of help to you? And so we communicate with them. And one of those things they told us was specific books that they wanted. And we bought some of those books that we've given to them, and that has been helping them. And even last week we took 2 teachers with us to see how we can help in the academic area. That would be good stuff.
I'm just going to interview you here a little bit.
Okay.
What percentage of the students that come to Centennial would come from Muslim background?
Well, it's very large. Very large. Very large. But the interesting thing about it is that I would say maybe 80% really, because some of them come from Christian homes, or maybe 80, 70%. But by the time they graduate, that percentage changes really a whole lot. This is one of those examples. Strong Muslim home. This was very strong, very, very strong Muslim. I mean, now he's talking about Christ. And some of them are now pastors. So, that's an answer to your question. Next question.
I know that you've had Peace Corps workers on campus before that have taught for periods of time. Any idea how many over the years?
Peace Corps.
Some of the Peace Corps workers that have been on campus to work there?
Recently or in the past?
Or just in the past?
We've had Peace Corps when we were there a good number. That really, and that impacted the academic goal. Of course, we had American missionaries that were there also. Then time came that the Peace Corps pulled out, and then recently they started. But I think because of the Ebola, there's no more Peace Corps. Right. So recently we had some Peace Corps. About 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we had about a couple that was there. And as soon as they start, Peace Corps starts, I'm sure we'll get some back there.
Jeff, as far as I know, historically, okay, there always have been Peace Corps on that campus since the beginning of Peace Corps. I was there, I think the Peace Corps started in 1961. President Kennedy, we had Peace Corps at that very point. And as far as I know, there has been Peace Corps program have continued. It may not be every year, but it had continued until recently when the Peace Corps pulled out because of the war, off and on. And then we've also had missionary teachers, frequently and lots of times. I, for one, I would have said, probably the 3rd wave of students, okay? At that point, of course, we have Peace Corps there, and of course, there are lots of missionary teachers there, including people like Nancy Hall, Gary, Rita Wild, Audrey Federline, and Mama Hoffman. You know, there's a whole bunch of, you know, volunteers. But the unfortunate thing is, you know, what really has been a problem, I mean, at least that's been, I look at it, is that because the mission contribution and the mission involvement had waned over the years, that now there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of the mission involvement. Okay. And the unfortunate thing is, I mean, Seattle has had a lot of problems. Okay. And during that problem, comparative with the UMC, okay, during the war, about everybody pulled out for safety reasons and so on. And that was the time also, really, the bigger pullout of the UBC, their support, and particularly the hospital as well as also the school, that was when that bigger pullout occurred. And since then, you know, whatever return there had been, it's been very minimal. In terms of, you know, Centennial, and Ron might probably say also with the hospital, right?
What?
Yes, I mean, the mission support had waned out considerably, particularly after the war. Okay? And compare that with the UNC. The UNC went back in full force after the war. And today, they are probably one of the strongest of the different mission group representatives there. What I really would love to see is more involvement of the mission. You know, particularly, you know, the health and as well as also the education. And that's where Huntington comes in.
So maybe if Jeff could maybe just give us a little bit of perspective on the relationship between Centennial Secondary School and the UB, and then also, Ron, if you want to share a little bit what you know about the hospital and maybe possible connection points with HU. And then, Francis, if we have time, you can tell a little bit more about the school and maybe potential collaboration with the school.
The relationship that the mission has with the Sierra Leone National Church is one of fraternal relationship at this point. They have 78 churches in Sierra Leone. They're doing outreach into a Sunni Muslim community, which is their own initiative, and they've also been instrumental in working with 7 new Liberian churches that are becoming part of our denomination. There are over 10,000 students in UBC schools in Sierra Leone, so Centennial's not the only school. It's the first, probably one of the most influential schools that we have there. And all of these programs are run without any funding coming from the mission. We don't pay any pastors, we don't pay the national leaders. We provide some financial assistance for some of the mission efforts that they've done, basically pay fuel so they can get to those places. But they've done an incredible job of being able to sustain themselves and continue to multiply ministry during that time. So we work on a project-by-project basis, and we ask the National Church to determine for us what are the priorities, and we follow their lead. We have been involved with the Centennial School in a number of different projects, and as Joe had mentioned, Engineers Without Borders has been a huge help as well from the Pennsylvania area. They started actually, I think, in a 5-year agreement or something like that, and I think now they're in year 9. They just keep on going because they love being involved there, and the work is really helpful. I'll just mention as well, we have the hospital there as well. So in Matrujung, in the town of Matrujung, there's another Matru in another part of the country. In Matrujung, we have UBC Hospital, which is a 60-bed hospital. We don't have any missionary staffing there right now. We have begun in just the last couple of months to assemble a team. We've been waiting for a while. It's kind of, how do you start with something like that? Well, we have a couple that were on staff there before, a medical doctor and his wife who's a nurse, who now are prepared to go back. So we said, good, let's build a team around this couple to be able to go back. So we're looking for people who can help with hospital administration and also technical help as well. We're talking with another husband and wife. He's a mechanical engineer, and she works in bookkeeping. They've both been there before. I think once we have missionary presence at the hospital, it's going to be quite easy to be able to have nursing students come and do internships or trips. We do have teams Dr. Baker, that goes back on a regular basis, and those are great opportunities to be able to take somebody over for 10 days to 2 weeks, and so there's opportunity to be able to do that as well. And then obviously, and those from the school can talk more, but I think there would be great opportunities for student teaching to take place at Centennial. As I said, it's a very quaint African town to be able to live in. I walk all over the place when I'm there. Maybe wouldn't do it at night, wouldn't recommend necessarily that young ladies walk around on their own, but it has a very much a hometown sort of feel to it. And again, we have a number of churches in that area as well that are doing some great ministry. And so it would be a great place for people to be.
Can I just follow?
Yeah,
If it's okay, because of my role, I'm playing really like a double role here, representing CeOSA, the school. And since this is a UB connected thing, the bishop in Sierra Leone definitely would like to hear about what is happening here. And I'll be the one to report to him. They consider me as like the ambassador to Canada and USA, so I better put in something in here. And first of all, I just want to recognize Dr. Fetters. Thank you for being part of this. So good to see you. And of course, you were saying you were on that trip that they made to Sierra Leone. I was there at that time. By that time, I was just, yeah.
Were you at Huntington or?
No, I was in Sierra Leone when you went.
Were you at the school?
Yeah, I was there in the office, one of the leaders of the church.
Okay.
When you guys made the trip to Sierra Leone in the 80s. I just returned from here. So I still remember that trip.
You were cheering on the other team, weren't
Yeah.
you? The American team.
I was both sides.
We were the American
Took you
team.
to some of the villages too.
Yeah.
It was good. That's good. But I have to report to the bishop in Sierra Leone what is happening here today. And one of those things that every time I'm there, they always say, please, when you go back to America, speak on our behalf. I'm excited about this kind of connection. The key word here is partnership. Partnership is not basically what can we get out of this place for ourselves, but how can we help each other. That Sierra Leone can be of help to the university or to America, and then you also can be global partnership. And in whatever way you see, there's going to be a point of connection. When the church went out there are 3 areas that they really took off. One in the spiritual area was church planting, and the bishop is very much interested in connections and evangelism and stuff like that. Department that is here that is connected, there are rooms for that. Of course, the medical, Dr. Baker is here. That has even increased now. The possibilities of partnership is so great in the nursing. Now they have a large nursing school. They have over 500 students in that village. I mean, you go to the town and they come from all over. So, and as I was talking to the bishop in Sierra Leone, the idea of even going out there to have experience in tropical disease and stuff like that. So there are great possibilities working with the hospital. And then, of course, the school, the academic area. I mean, you name it, it's there. Student teaching, how can you be of academic influence, how can you study, and what relationship can we have. And so I just want to encourage the partnership that we started. So on behalf of the bishop, and I know the director of Global Ministries is here, we want to see how we can impact each other, Sierra Leone and the United States. And thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Let me just add something here. When Centennial was established, it was the only secondary school in Matricha. Today we have 2 other secondary schools, and those 2 other secondary schools were actually started by old Centennial students. Right? And at the time, like I said earlier, we had a boarding home. So it attracted a lot of students. Now we don't have the boarding home. So we have become like the same thing. So the majority of students now in Centennial are from within the township. So the flavor that we used to get no longer exists. So one of the things that I have been